And welcome back to America Right Now. I'm Tom Basili. Each week, we honor a person or a group who's making America proud by helping others. They're our Patriot of the Week. This week, we salute Leib Lurie, the CEO and co-founder of the Kids Read Now Project. It's a nonprofit which began as a way to stop what's commonly called the summer slide, the learning loss for kids when they're out of school over the summer. However, that aim has shifted to address concerns for kids who have been forced to learn remotely during the COVID-19 lockdowns. They now serve 75,000 kids from kindergarten to third grade in more than 200 school districts stretching from New York to Alaska. They'll also be delivering 600,000 books to families through their summer reading program this year. Let's welcome Leib to America Right Now.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, you know, this program fills a significant and growing need in our nation. How did you get started, Leib?
Well, my wife was a reading teacher, and we were reading an article one day back in 2011 on the summer reading slide and how it affects children. And she said, "Oh, it's terrible. I come back in the fall and kids have had their brains fried over the summer." And we looked at saying, how can we help and what can we do? And without interfering what the schools do in the school year, how do you boost up what's happening over the summer? And how do we get parents to help their kids keep that learning gains they did all year long over the summer? And that's what we started, and that's what we've been doing. Kids Read Now, mailing books every week to kids, no matter whether they live in an Aleutian Island village that's only reachable by seaplane, or Manhattan Island PS5, named after my mom, the Leib Lurie School. We mail books to the kids' homes every single week to keep them reading all summer long.
Independent research shows that kids in your summer reading program gain 2 to 3 months of learning. How do you make it engaging for them and also easier for parents to help?
Sure, absolutely. Two big things. The first is inside of each book, we put a sticker called a discovery sheet, and it has 4 questions or 4 activities. Curious George was a monkey. He got in trouble. Talk about a time you got in trouble. Curious George was from Africa. What else do you know? Talk about from Africa. Why don't you write a letter to the author recommending the next adventure that Curious George could do? Those kinds of questions that turn fluency, which is just reading the words, into comprehension, understanding the story and how it relates to them and their world and their places around them. And then every single week, we text all parents, mom and dad, 2 different phone numbers if need be, add grandma and grandpa or Uncle Fred, whoever the kid's going to be with over the summer. And we say, did you read a book? Report the book, and there's a code inside the cover to tell us what it is. And we'll mail the next book every week. And we send tips and tricks and ideas and encouragement. We have a game in our app that encourages kids to keep reading and see where they stand against their classmates. All of that encourages kids to read, parents to make it easy to read with their kids, and for parents to be the true patriots of reading in America, helping their kids learn to read.
You know, Leib, as a father of 3, I know how the screens that these kids are on, that really interferes with their love of reading, them using their imagination while they're reading a book. And I really love how you give them things to do, that it's not just the reading, it's an activity that's associated with the reading. You partnered with more than 200 school districts in 21 states because of COVID-19. Talk to us also about how things have shifted for you during the pandemic.
Sure. Well, we last spring when everything shut down, this is the anniversary of the shutdown, when everything shut down, we had to go from an in-school spring party orientation to introduce the summer reading program with a kids' picnic or barbecue to all online and to all at home mailing. And we had to spend a couple $100,000 to convert our software and our systems and our postage and our process. And we also had a lot of kids who were no longer accessible to schools to pick the books they wanted. So we had to pick some of the books for them.
I know that you have a goal, an ambitious goal of serving 500,000 kids in 5 years. How can our viewers help and parents and teachers also get involved?
Well, any parent or any teacher or educator, administrator who wants to go to kidsreadnow.org and learn about our program is welcome to do so. Any parent who wants to go online and get some of those tips and tricks, they're free to any parent. And of course, as an aside, you mentioned screen time for your 3 kids, Tom. We're starting to encourage older kids to turn on closed captions because that makes screen time reading time.
Interesting.
And that takes those hours of screen time and turns them into productive reading time for kids.
Interesting. Well, Leib Lurie, you and your whole team at Kids Read Now, you are our Patriots of the Week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, but it's the parents who do the work.